Welcome to the Saturday Sip Along. Well, yeehaw.
Happy Saturday night, everybody.
Oh, happy Saturday. And yeah, good to see all the smiling faces. I know
Smiling face,
I know
yeah.
they're smiling. I know they are. I can feel it. I'm like that. I can sense it. All right. So this is Saturday Sip Along,
It
and
is.
this is Independence Day weekend for most people.
Couple days before, yeah.
Yeah. So most people are off Monday in recognition of it. I know the trash will run late and all that type of good stuff. See, that's always the thing though with holidays. The trash, it puts the trash pickup off, but you're home and you're doing things, so you fill your trash up more. So then you have to like work through all that anyway.
Yeah.
We're not going to worry about that. That's after the fact. But now we are sipping tonight on Eagle Rare, but we are going to be talking about certain bourbons that would go better with certain foods, right? And it depends on how the food is seasoned and all that. Now, some people, now what I'm talking about is I don't drink bourbon along with a food, but something to prepare my palate for the food. And then maybe what would go well as an aperitif, after I've eaten, what what bourbon would go with that? I know some people out there like to sip bourbon with food. Trash, what the fuck? I was just talking about random. I'm random, man. Jerry J. I'm random. You got to watch me, because just like Yeehaw, I mean, I just come up. I don't even tell him I'm gonna do it. I just do it. But now we try to keep it fresh, man. We try to keep the content fresh. So Eagle Rare. The reason I chose Eagle Rare is because I have a backup bottle up there of it. And if we need to crack it open, we can, because this one here is getting very low.
We chose it because there's an eagle on the label, and that is America's bird.
There you go. National.
And
yeah.
It is 4th of July almost. So
You're right.
The two kind of go together.
Yep. So tomorrow is Sunday the 3rd, and then we're into Monday the 4th. Okay. And that's supposed to be, well, typically what you see is outdoor games, cornhole, horseshoes, ring toss, whatever, those are type of games. You grill stuff, you barbecue, everybody tries to find some shade to stay in because it's freaking be hot outside. But typically you're getting smoked meats, bratwurst, hamburgers, hot dogs, the American fare, that we've claimed that come from all over the world.
That's right.
But I'm going to take a sip of this.
And all the stores are selling off all their meats, all the stuff for the 4th of July going, whew.
Man, I tell you what, I went to a grocery store and I was just going to go, and this was Friday, and I was just going to go back there and just, grab some piece of meat or something. And it was packed. And all the brats were gone. And like they have this huge section of bratwurst, Italian sausage brats, and they have like cheddar and bacon brats. They have the cheddar brats. They have beer and cheese brat, spicy cheese brats, spicy beer brats. All of these different ones, and most of them are Johnsonville, brand. What's up, Oji-san? And everybody, yeah, shout out right quick, Jerry J, Angie Mason Fluid Art, Deidre Miller D's Art, welcome. And OG Son, and I know I missed somebody. I know Lori was here.
RB?
She would be. RB is here, and yeah, I saw RB's picture on the Facebook where he had these glasses on that had American flags on.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they look pretty cool. So nice parade they had, there. So, but yeah, where was I before I stopped to shout out?
You were talking about 4th of July and
Oh yeah. Okay,
and
so
the bourbon.
yeah, so some of the things that's typical. Oh, I was talking about this grocery store running out of shit. That's what it was.
Oh, that's right.
Random
The meats, yeah.
the meats. Anyway, so I know people are going to be grilling and cooking because they were shopping for meat. So bratwurst is going to be popular. Almost all the ribeyes were gone. Then the filet, or not the filet, but the New York strips were getting thin. There was plenty of lamb left there. They have lamb section in there. Little ham, not ham, lamb chops. Little.
Why aren't they going? Aren't they patriotic enough?
No, typically, I don't cook a lot of lamb in the summer. It's mostly around Christmas time. Yeah, I don't know. I do a leg of lamb and I'll do the rosemary and all that junk. But with that, I usually get a good Merlot or something. But let's talk about generally what's a good sipper. And all bourbon has very similar notes. But if I'm gonna eat, say, chicken wings or bratwurst, I don't tend to go for a higher rye. I keep it mellow, but if I'm going to eat like a burger or something heavier like that, I tend to go for a higher rye bourbon, like maybe 36+% in the mash on rye. Something like a Four Roses single barrel or something like that. It just prepares you for the spicy, because I tend to really, really, really season my burgers when I do them. And I'll put a lot of dry rub and stuff in there with Worcestershire sauce, and I'll do them all up and then patty them.
Yeah, that smells good. I can smell that right now.
Yeah. And then when that and I use a pellet grill, that Traeger pellet smoker.
So I'm sorry in advance, but I got to say this:
Mm-hmm.
Does chicken cock go with chicken?
No, not really. Well, actually, it is
Actually,
it's a sweeter bourbon. It kind of is, but it's few noted though. It's just for the price. I don't really care for chicken cock.
I just had to throw that in. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was really expensive. But this would go good with chicken. This is, I mean, Eagle Rare is not a wheater, but it's close enough. I mean, but the Weller is a wheated bourbon, and the wheated, softer, sweeter bourbons, I think, would go well to get you ready for the barbecue chicken. It's usually a little bit sweeter on the barbecue sauce and all of that. But
do you ever marinate meat in bourbon?
Oh, I have. Yeah. I mean, I had a whole series, and it's still out there on YouTube, called the Bourbon Burner series, where I was cooking. And what I would do is I would go look for a recipe, and if I found them, I didn't shoot that because it's been there, done that, right? It's been done. I would dig up recipes like bourbon marinated brats or bourbon basted brats, and I would look at all this, and I couldn't find a recipe for it anywhere. So I was like, all right, game on. I'm going to give this a shot. And the way I did the bratwurst is I took a little old sandwich Ziploc bag and I put the brat and it just fit in there. And I would just pour a little bourbon in there where it would cover it and then zip the top of it and then hang it. I hung it on the shelf in that refrigerator where it would hang off, and I put something heavy on there to hold it so that the brat would like free hang in that bag and stay in the bourbon. And man, it soaked in there really well.
Wow.
Overnight. And then I just cooked it the same as I do a regular brat, which is about an hour of smoke and then about 7 or 8 minutes on really, really high heat.
You heard it here first.
So, and that's on that Traeger, you know. But you could do it, but that smoke gets in there really well, and that bourbon made it actually a little more tender and easier to eat. So a lot of people cook their brats in beer, and they'll put the beer on a simmer, and they'll put their bratwursts in there, and they almost fully cook them. And what a lot of people mistake they make is they simmer them in beer, and then they put them on the grill, but they leave them on the damn grill too long, and it just there's no juice left.
Yeah.
And the way that I do on there is I smoke them for an hour, and it makes that casing like real firm, so you get a good snap when you bite into them. And then I remove them and turn the heat up to say 450, 500, whatever, and let it come up to temp. And then I put them on there about 4 minutes, and then I roll them over with the tongs, and what it's doing is putting grill marks on each side of it. And then I let them go for another 3 or 4 minutes in there, and then they're spitting when I pull them off. But there's also a lot of juice still contained in that brat. And you got to be very careful when you bite into them, because when you go to bite them, if you bite them too fast, it's scalding hot and it will spray you right in the face.
Yikes.
So what I do sometimes is I'll prepare the brat and all after they've rested for a little bit, and then I just take a knife and cut it in half, and then you've got juices running out, and I'll eat one half at a time.
Sounds like the smart way.
Yeah, because we've shot ourselves in the eye before trying to eat these things.
So this weekend is going to be a lot of hot dogs and hamburgers.
Yeah.
What's the basic? I mean, what's a good bourbon for a hot dog?
For me, anything that's not too spicy, I want to keep it on the sweeter side. And as a pre to the meal, like a pre-drink for it, I like to keep it on a lower proof, because I don't want to overwhelm my palate with those flavors, and then it makes your hot dog taste bland or whatever. I would probably go for Elijah Craig or something. Anything that's around 90 proof, around in that area. I think Basil Hayden, that's a good time for that. If you like Basil Hayden, I don't like the price tag on it because it's 80 something proof, but it does have some pretty gentle notes to it, and they're plentiful in there. It's not like a deadpan bourbon. I mean, it's got enough to keep you interested in drinking it, but not enough to overwhelm the food. Now, on the follow after the meal, that's when I want the Smoke Wagon Uncut Unfiltered, or the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, or something like that. And it's all personal preference. And that's all we're sitting here.
Is that why you're sitting around smoking a cigar?
Oh yeah, that's when you want the cigar. Yep. And I mean, you feel great. You're all relaxed, and
tummy's full.
That tummy's full.
Greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah. And most of the time, what I like doing, because it's so damn hot outside, is I like doing a brunch on the holiday days, and get up and do like French toast and some little sausage links and stuff, and you have a big spread, and everybody just kind of family style dine, with all the stuff that's laid out, and then eat later in the day, So if you eat at like 10 in the morning on a brunch, you don't need anything till 4 or 5 o'clock, and so maybe even 6. Now I have to be careful with that. I do it every once in a while, but I battle heartburn, and I don't like to eat too late in the day, because then I like it all digested out before I lay down and go to sleep. But then if you catch me on one of these shows and I'm up till 2:30 in the morning anyway, it's gone.
Which has happened a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it has. Now, Bourbon was on last night. And man, we had a round table of bourbon YouTubers on there.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, man, that was fun last night. And I set up a little too late, but finally. But they don't start till midnight, And so I was on a dry night last night, and I was like, I hadn't had anything to drink, and it was about 11:30, and I got the notification that Bourbon went on. So I was like, you know what? I'll jump on there. And of course, you can't jump on a bourbon stream and not pour some bourbon.
Right.
So I had a couple of bourbons, and then I was like, guys, I gotta go. You know. But no, it was fun though. Did you hear my stomach?
I do.
Boy, my stomach growling. I'm not even hungry. I mean, I think I went to
Your
Starbucks.
stomach says otherwise.
I went to Starbucks and I wanted one of those pineapple things. They have those tropical fresher things, and they didn't have them. They said they were out at this location. So I got the dragon drink. And I was having to turn it up and take a drink, but it's pink and purple looking. So I would make sure I turned it down before the car could see me with it, you know, because I was self-conscious about drinking it. It tastes good though.
Hey, Art by Sparkle. That's a cool name.
Mm-hmm. Art by Sparkle. She likes the musics. Yeah, she was singing one night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So the somebody mentioned sauerkraut. I think it was Jerry J. Sauerkraut on brats. Well, sometimes. I'm the only one in the house that likes sauerkraut. But with that said, sauerkraut's cheap, you know, and I don't like it like completely loaded on there.
Yeah,
But and the only time I like sauerkraut on the brat is if I'm using a really good German mustard. That's not your typical Heinz yellow mustard.
Grey Poupon?
No, they have stone ground, you know, something house, you know, HAUS, whatever mustard at the store. Yeah, I needed an umbrella for my drink. Yeah, that's what it was. I did hold my pinky out when I was drinking it, but no, I can take or leave sauerkraut on it. I mean, I like the little texture and the I like it on there cold.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So if I get sauerkraut, I like to do get it from the vegetable section where they have it chilled, and it's in the plastic bag, and it doesn't have that metallic flavor to it like the can does. And then I get it home cold, and I keep it cold in the fridge, and then open it up right before we go to eat, because that hot brat with that cold kraut, you know, that's pretty good.
Never tried
stone ground deli mustard. That's the one I like. And some of them are those German mustards. They use a different vinegar type stuff in it, and it gives it more of a flavor, a German flavor, you know, like that. And so, but they cook with it too, and they'll do that red cabbage and, you know, the red kraut and the white kraut. But I like the white.
Yeah, they used to have it at the Elks every 4th of July, I think.
Yeah. But
it was good.
Oh yeah, well yeah, a lot of us make all this stuff, and we're going to have an after party, and then people come up and talk about all the fantastic food. I'm a foodie dude.
He is too, man. He can cook really good.
Yeah, I have to watch myself because I try to keep my barrel down to a bucket. But,
yeah, I haven't been able to do that.
No, man, it's not easy.
Mine's an oil drum.
Well, what makes it even harder is I'm a lazy ass, you know. So I'm allergic to working out. It gives me aches and pains, you know. But no, we haven't been playing disc golf lately because of about a casserole, mashed potatoes, sauerkraut. Oh yeah, all that sounds good. In layers and baked. Yeah, sounds good. I will be strumming a little bit in the after party. I was killing it the other on Thursday night in the after party. I mean, that when we first started the after party, nobody was really there. There was only like three people in the chat. So I played through some songs, and I was just playing one after another. And then people started coming in, and I'm like, yeah, I played that song earlier. And they're like, oh, I want to hear it again. So I'd play it again. I was like, well, the copyright claim's already there, so I might as well play it again. Spare time, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I was talking about some people have a 6 pack. I have a half case, and then there's some people that have a 30 pack, and then there's some people that have a whole keg. You know. Yeah, we're gonna sing not in the regular show. As soon as this show wraps up,
Yep.
we'll do the after party, and then that's when I'll sing. Hmm.
So what else we got?
We have to talk about different ways. Let's talk about the food with the bourbon. So when I was doing the bourbon burner series, I had a bourbon soaked brat, and I believe I soaked that one. I can't remember the bourbon. I'd have to go back and read the description. But I believe I used Woodford Reserve Double Oak because brats are a little sweet, but they have some spice to it, and Woodford Reserve Double Oak's a little sweet. So, but it's that dark sweetness, to it, and so I think that's what I used. But now the ribeye steaks or the New York strip steaks, I did. And I did lamb chops, but I didn't marinate the lamb in bourbon because I like the gamey flavor of lamb. So what I did was I deglazed the pan with bourbon, and then I did a cream mushroom gravy in bourbon, like a bourbon creamy mushroom gravy, and then I put that back, and I used shiitake mushrooms because they're a lighter flavor, and I didn't want anything to overwhelm the lamb. But
Yeah, I like lamb too, but my wife, man, she guilts me when I say anything about I want to have some lamb. Oh, you want to shoot that little teeny cute animal?
all right, that's fine. Yep.
Yeah. If you're gonna ask, then yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah. I mean,
But it is good, man, and I can remember my grandfather's or my uncle's 50th anniversary. They had lamb, and I will never forget that. I mean, and that was like 15 years ago.
and actually,
Real good.
I like mutton better than lamb. So mutton is lamb that's over a year old.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So if you slaughter the lamb when it's like 9, 10, 11 months old, it's lamb. And it hasn't developed that strong mutton flavor. I had rather have mutton. And when I do the Christmas thing, I like a mutton leg, with bone in. And I actually put it in a turkey bag. And then before I put it in there, hey, Funky Uncle John, I take a knife and I stab it all around. And then I take shallots and rosemary and I stuff them down in the little cuts all the way around it. And then I throw it in there, and then I slice shallots like real thin and throw them in the bag. And then I'll throw sprigs of rosemary in there and then seal that thing off.
That sounds good.
And then bake it. And then all the juices are in that turkey bag and none of them steam away. And then I get it out of the bag and I pour all of that juice, from the bag. And that's what I make my gravy with. And it's more like a light brown gravy.
Oh, so you want to try that IPO I brought, or do you want to wait till the after show?
Oh, we'll do it in the after party. That way I can
Okay.
pour me a beer and I can sit here and play just a little bit, and we will see how that goes.
See how that goes.
Yep. Best pies in the world. What's the best pies in the world? Lamb pies. Out with the barbers. Selling rabbit. Oh, I grew up hunting rabbit, We had
Hey, Lava.
yeah, we had rabbit dogs, beagles, and they would run rabbits and get them to jump out, and we'd hunt fence rows and stuff like that. Ahoy, ahoy.
See that Scotch? Scotch pie is made with mutton.
Oh yeah, yeah. But like I said, the mutton is just a stronger flavor. It's got more of that lamb flavor that comes out, and that's
Hey, Raven.
What's up, Raven? But yeah, I mean, with lamb though, man, you need a heavy bourbon. You're gonna need something with a lot of notes, especially if you have mutton and you don't go for the like really light flavored lamb. You know,
This
now,
has got a lot of notes.
yeah, but it's still a lighter bourbon. You know, it doesn't have the dark caramel notes
Do I
and
smell
all.
coffee?
No, I mean maybe. I mean, I'm not going to discount what you're picking up, but
I don't know. It's something I don't recognize, but
but for y'all that don't know, right now we're drinking Eagle Rare. Eagle Rare has it has good notes to it, but it's still not a heavy noted bourbon. It's more like an afternoon sipper, you know, bourbon, a early evening sipper. Oh, rhubarb. mm. But a lot of vanilla, caramel, apple, you know, in it. That's really what you're going to get. A lot of that wood sugar is what you
that's
get.
what I was smelling, the vanilla.
Yep. And the finish on it's real short. I mean, I know people covet it, but I mean, it's just a regular old bourbon, and I buy it when I get a chance because you just can't find it that often, and people like to see the bottle, you know. But yeah, it's not the best bourbon in the world. I mean, you know, and I put it around the same as Michter's as far as the weight and quality and all of that of them. The Michter's US one, the small batch, that because Michter's makes a crap ton of stuff, but yeah, they're regular old small batch bourbon is what. Mm. But that one's sweeter, a little more caramel to it. It's more like a little dessert thing. And you're not going to mess up anything by starting off with Eagle Rare. You know, you're not going to, oh, I overwhelmed my palate. No, I can't taste this. Now you're not going to do that with Eagle Rare. So, but as far as what you can do with bourbon and food, cooking with it, I cook with mostly the Benchmark, the McAfee Benchmark, and it's bottled by Buffalo Trace. But they put that stuff way up in the top of the rick house where it's hot, and it's not aged that long, you know. And but no, and they water it, you know, they cut it down with that limestone water, you know, filtered water and all that, and they I mean, honestly, as far as Eagle Rare goes, the Old Forester 1920 is one of my favorite, easily, readily available bourbons. That is, I call it an intermediate bourbon because you're getting an explosion in notes out of that. And that can overwhelm somebody that's not used to bourbon or you only used to drinking 80 proof bourbons. That could blow their mind, you know. And at first, if you're not ready for it, it can turn people off, you know, to it. That's why I like to ease people through the journey, because if you just start putting some of these, you know, $200 bourbons or whatever under their nose, they're not going to know how to drink that.
Right. Yeah.
You know, you need to work your way up to it. What's up, Todd from 21090?
So you can overwhelm your tongue, and then you can drink some Trader Joe's and underwhelm it.
Oh my
and
God.
It'll even out, right?
No, I'd rather, if I had to choose between either one of those bourbons or all I could drink for the rest of my life is regular Jim Beam, I would take regular Jim Beam all day long.
Oh, yeah.
Because that stuff was nasty. Fulton Moraz, what's happening? So,
Trader
yeah.
Joe's, if you're listening, dump that shit.
But the one thing I found out, cooking with bourbon, just marinate it. Just put it in bourbon in a Ziploc bag. Let it cover, you know, everything. And McAfee Benchmark is $10 for 750 milliliters. It's not like you're breaking the bank to do it. When it calls for like deglazing with white wine, deglaze with bourbon. You know, deglaze the pan. It gives it a nice, light, airy flavor. All that alcohol, of course, goes off.
Burns off.
You know, burns off. Bourbon glazed wings are good. You know, making like a sticky sauce, you know, with bourbon and other things, you know, brown sugar and things like that, you know, and you make a glaze, and then glazing the wings in it is really good. I made actual pancakes where I put some bourbon in the pancake batter, and then I made whipped cream to go on the pancakes. And with the whipped cream, and I put a little vanilla in there. I put it in a stand mixer, and then I poured some bourbon in there too, and just let it whip. Now that's live bourbon, when you do that, because you don't cook whipped cream. But you're talking about a shot for a whole bunch. I mean, you're not getting drunk off of eating pancakes. But that was good. Bourbon and chocolate is actually really, really good. If you go to like get a good chocolate to melt down in like a mixing bowl over a pot or a double boiler or however you want to do it, and then put your chocolate chips in there, put your cream in, but cut your cream down a little, and then add some bourbon to it, and that's really good.
It does sound good, yeah.
Yeah, and for that, I wouldn't use McAfee Benchmark. I would use some really good bourbon, because you're not putting that much in there, because you'll water down your chocolate with bourbon. I mean, not watering it down, but it makes it too runny, because you want it creamy. But oh yeah, bourbon whipped cream. That stuff there was good. And I let my kids try it, even though it had a lot of bourbon in it, and they were like, "Oh, this is fantastic." And I said, "Well, I may make some for Christmas or something, Thanksgiving, something like that." Thrash life, how's it going? But yeah, we're gonna end this stream here shortly. But all I'm gonna say is, cooking with bourbon, don't be afraid of it, and just come up with stuff on your own and do it. Also, if you're looking at mixing drinks and stuff, you can add whatever alcohol you want. I would just go through and make sure that the ingredients aren't going to mess up the bourbon, like it's not going to clash with the bourbon, because there's some fruity drinks out there that were designed to go with tequila or vodka and a neutral spirit, and they weren't designed to go, with bourbon. But if you feel like, hey, I'm going to try it, give it a shot.
What about a bourbon sunrise?
I don't know. I've never tried it.
Tequila sunrise.
I do have my way of making an old fashioned. And sometimes when it's hot and it's summertime and I want a whiskey drink, I'll make an old fashioned, because you're getting it's a cold drink for one. But the way I make it is I use Hella Bitter orange, the orange Hella Bitters, and I don't put an orange peel in it. I put maraschino cherries in there, and I take maybe a spoonful or two of the maraschino cherry juice in there, and then I shake, 3 or 4 shakes of the bitters, and then just a couple of shots. And for that, I use a rye whiskey. I don't use bourbon. And for mine, I use that Tawakaro rye. And I put about 3 shots actually, because I use a jigger.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a 1.5 ounce, and I'll fill it almost all the way up, and dump that in there. So I'm making a triple shot old fashioned, and I really like those. And then of course we tried the mint juleps.
That was so good. Cool Runnings in the house.
All right. But yeah, don't be afraid to cook with bourbon, and don't be afraid. It's whatever you like. But I would stick with a lighter bourbon pre-meal and a heavier bourbon after, one that will hold up. And if you like to smoke a cigar and get that peaceful, easy feeling, and kick back and puff on that thing and sip on something good, get a stronger bourbon.
Yeah, and what I want to say is, everybody, it's the 4th of July. Have a great 4th of July, but please be safe. I mean, every year you hear somebody pointing a bottle rocket in the wrong way and putting somebody's eye out. So just be careful and be safe. It's just common sense.
And if you want to experience it once in your life, if it's never happened to you, just hold that firecracker till it goes off. You'll regret it, but
you will, yeah.
But it will let you know you're alive. It doesn't even hurt at first. It doesn't even hurt at first. It just goes bang, and then you're like, did that just go off my hand? And then all of a sudden it starts going boom, boom, boom.
Your fingers are hanging there. But no, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm talking about those little bitty firecrackers. They hurt, but it's no lasting damage. Bourbon tips. Now, are we talking about bourbon tips as in
meat
suggestions, or are we talking bourbon like beef tips? Because that would be good.
That
would be good, and make make the gravy, for the beef tips with bourbon in it, but then soak the, like marinate the beef tips in bourbon, with other spices and all that. Let that soak in there. And bourbon does tenderize it, that meat some too. Gets in there and does that. And then, do your sear the beef tips off and then make your gravy. Like take them out of the pan to rest and then deglaze with bourbon and make your bourbon gravy and put them back in there and stir them around and kaboom.
Sounds like delicious.
Oh yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and end this thing and I'll get the after party. I'm just going to go over. Well, let me do that right now. Let me go ahead.
Be safe, everybody.
I'm going to get the after party going before we end the stream. Create broadcast, new broadcast. Saturday. Oops. After party. And again, I don't monetize these. Music will be played. Oops. And I'm not going to schedule it for later. I am going to create broadcast. And then it's going to put me in here and I will get the link and put it out there for everybody. So enter studio. Now let me go to YouTube's.
And away we go.
Yeah, we're going to.
Request your free flag pin.
Oh, look at there. Something free.
I know, man.
All right. Here's the after party. Let me grab this. Get shareable link. Oops. Let me go back to the StreamYard. We will put this right here.
Go back to the free stuff.
No. All right. So there's the link to the after party. I'm going to go ahead and end this and I'm going to go over there and we're just going to crank it.
See you, everybody.
Up. All right. See you.